Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and today we are continuing Icewind Dale. And we're going to be doing some side quests here in Kuldahar, so let's get going. First we're going to talk to Amelia here. Keep your damn horse stabled, I'll get you in a moment. What's this, some sort of majory? Excuse me? Ha, I'm just surprised to see a new face in Kuldahar is all. Thought I'd never see another customer that passed buried in snow it is. You must be looking for something fierce to brave the winter's chill. Looking for a room for the night. We are in and out of luck. We don't have any rooms, but that pug-nosed knee-high at the evening shade. Aldwin has some rooms for a lad if you're interested. Better hope you have enough coin, though. I doubt a pile of gold would be enough for that copper-clenching mole. I take it you don't like halflings? It's nothing to do with him being a half-man. If so, then most of Kuldahar's would be guilty. It's his manner, that ill-mannered excuse for a gunny sack came into ownership of that inn recently, and it's a queer thing how he did too. How so? Well, the previous innkeeper, Eden, is one of the folks who's gone missing of late. Thing is, he's one of the only ones that seems to know he was going missing, because he left a claim on who to pass the inn onto in case he needed to be put to sleep with a shovel. Go on. Then, barely a day after he's gone, Aldwin shows up like a winter wolf out of the fresh fallen snow, with the claim in his paws, and set up shop, pretty as you please. Sounds like one man's misfortune is another man's good fortune. What else do you know about it? Well, I knew Eden and the Fool was a red enough fellow, but he had the palsy so bad he couldn't even write his own name, much less claim. And that's even if he was in the know about his letters, which he wasn't. I see. Interesting. Maybe I'll ask Aldwin about the claim he has. In the meantime, where would I find a meal around here? If it's a meal you're after, tell that filthy goated wine spider squatting behind the bar to stop drinking the stock and fire up the oven. But you'd best shout. He's too deep in his cups to hear if you want to talk all crazed like, civilized like. Very well then.
Okay.
Let's see. How do we get up there? Go up this way.
Okay. Sure.
Looking for a room, or you just want to let the chill in? I got no rooms for stragglers. Show some coin and I'll show you the door. You Aldwin? Yeah, maybe. Do I know you? Amelia, the barmaid of the Ruth cellar mentioned you. Said you bought this inn from a man named Eden, before he vanished, that is. Amelia, that dried-up serving wench with a voice like a harpy? Yeah, I know her. She's right, I did buy this place from Eden, and I'm begging to see why the old dodger wanted to sell his inn and vanish real quick. Why? Well, he stuck me in this hole, and not much business he had. Winter's choked up all the passes, so that means no caravans and no business. I hope old Eden got buried in a snowdrift or used as a chew bone by an ogre. Anyway, the claim is mine, so I gotta make do. He wrote the claim to you? Yeah, written in pen and ink, legally binding, every I dotted, every T crossed, for any fool to see. Well, he did have palsy, but you knew that, right? So if this claim was written to you, of course, assuming that he knew how to write, which he didn't, then the script would hardly be as perfectly written as you say. Yeah, well, old Eden must have had someone write it for him, then, because everything looks in order to me. It's not unheard of to have others write claims for you. All I know is the claim's mine. Now, do you want a room or not? If not, then get out. I'll be on my way then. Farewell.
Yes.
Very well.
Okay.
Oh, it's you again. What do you want this time? I found a ring in one of the upper rooms you might be interested in. What? The ring has an inscription on it. From the inside, it looks like the real claim to this inn. Why would you be the owner then of his, if this claim says different? Oh, so now you've stooped to forcing a way into locked containers in people's houses, have you? Before you accuse me of doing anything wrong, maybe you should look to yourself. What are you doing breaking and entering? Oh, so you knew it was locked upstairs. No, I didn't know it was locked upstairs. Look, I don't have to explain anything. You're right. I will take Eden's ring to the elders of the town and let them decide how to deal with this. Perhaps they could call on Eden Shade with the ring and speak to him about this. Justice must be served. Look, hold on. Here's what happened. First off, I never laid a hand on Eden. So Eden is dead. Well, yeah, but it's not my fault. I come into the inn one night after barely making my way through Kuldahar's pass, see, and there he is, lying on the floor in the inn, cold as stone. Now, I'd been through the pass before and even talked with the old fool a bit, and I knew he didn't have any family. What'd you do with the body? There'd been rumors of people missing, so I buried the body outside of town, and then, well, I dug up some pen and ink and set up the claim. Granted, I stripped him of his belongings, and I should have thrown away that damn ring, but look, I'm not doing any harm. He didn't have any family, and this town needs an inn. So why'd you do it? You probably won't be able to sell this place, you know? The storm season closes off the caravan routes too often to turn any profit. I know, it's just that... I don't know, I'm sick of traveling, and I still ain't got the urge to settle. Bling the halfling in me, I suppose, but at least I didn't try to plant myself in some glorified mole burrow and smoke a stinkweed pipe until I die of boredom. Well, it's good you didn't hurt Eden. You shouldn't have hid the body and falsified the claim. There were people here that probably knew him and cared for him, and they would have liked to pay their respects. Besides, as Eden's ring states, the inn belongs to Kuldahar, not you. What you did was wrong. Yeah, well, before you start getting any more preaching on me, it seems that you need to stop your habit of breaking and entering. That stinks of a thief, and by my reckoning, that puts us at about the same level. Fair enough. Nonetheless, I want you to speak to the town elders and let them know what you've done. If you don't, I'll speak to them. It will be worse for you in the long run. I... Look, I mean... What's to keep me from getting out of town? We won't get far. The avalanche has sealed off the pass, and plus there are raiders scurrying the mountains. Just confess to the elders. Alright, damn it. I'll go talk to them. Now stop bothering me. Good. Now I'm looking for a room. Can you help me?
Uh-huh. Sure.
Welcome, stranger. What can I do for you? Greetings, my name is Mahn. Who might you be? My name's Conlon. I'm the local smithy of these parts. If you'd be needing a sharp blade or stout mace, I'm the man to see. Best take advantage while I'm still here. While you're still here, are you going somewhere? I suppose so. With all the skullduggery that's been going on around here, I imagine I'll not be around much longer. I see. So you plan on leaving town? Huh. I wish that were possible. The southern pass has long since been snowed in by the damnable weather we've been having lately. Now I hear tell that even the northern route to the 10 towns has been blocked by an avalanche. Mark my words, none of us will ever last through this winter. We're all done for. I have no intention of dying here. Why is it that you're so ready to line your own grave? Not much for me to live for, really. My Mary passed away a few years ago from the fever, and now my son's gone missing. Snatched out of his bed in the middle of the night, right out from under my nose. He was just a boy. I'm so sorry. Any idea what or who took him? If I knew that, do you think I'd be standing around here pounding at metal? He just vanished. Gone without a trace. Even Arundel couldn't find a trail, and he's got a nose for such things. I imagine whatever took him will come back for me next. I can't say that it'll be unwelcome. Who is this person you mentioned? Arundel. Sort of the town elder of Kuldahar. He's the closest thing to a leader we got. Quiet fellow he is, often spends days alone out in the passes, walking among the animals. He's got away with beasts, you know. Actually saw him talk to an eagle once. He had it perched on his shoulder, and the two of them were chatting back and forth like old friends. Perhaps I should meet him. Where can I find him? He has a house at the south end of town by the ancient standing stones. You can't miss it. It's the biggest building in town. I hear it's the oldest, too. Before I go, could I see what you have for sale?
Uh-huh. Sure.
Aye, phew. No sneak up on Weenog like that. Who are you? Me, Weenog. Who you? I am Beaumont. Who lives here? Surely this tower can't belong to you. No, tower belongs to master. Weenog only servant. Cleans tower. Cleans tower, makes beds, cooks tasty food for the master. The master? Who's your master? Oric, the master. A great wizard the master is. Weenog serves the master, so one day he can be a great wizard too. I see. Where might I find this wizard? The master is in his study, through door. Go in if you want to speak with the master. Weenog not allowed in study. Master keeps powerful magics in there. Books, papers, and wizard things that Weenog not understand. Thanks, Weenog. Farewell.
Uh-huh.
Well, now, what do we have here? It's been a long time since I've had guests. Welcome. My name is Oric. What brings you to my humble home? Nothing in particular. I'm new to town, just thought I'd have a look around. Well, as you can see, my private study here isn't much of an attraction, but I'm sure there are plenty of other interesting sights to see in Kuldahar. You'd best hurry along if you wish to see them all. Before I go, I'd like to ask you some questions about disturbances in the past. Ah, yes, the disturbances. I'm afraid I can't be much help for you there. I rarely leave this tower for any reason, you see. My studies prevent me from taking an active interest in the affairs of the people of Kuldahar. Their problems are no concern of mine. But you live here. How can you not care what happens to the town and its people? I have had many homes. Kuldahar is not the first, and certainly won't be the last. It is unfortunate that these simple folk have been made to suffer so, but I have no desire to get involved. All that matters to me is my work. What's so important about your work? Everything. Knowledge is the one true source of power in this universe. Everything else is fleeting. I've spent years collecting these tomes and scrolls you see before you. They are my life's work. Contained with their passage are the clues that may one day unlock the mysteries of an ancient and nearly forgotten arcane lore. What sort of arcane lore? My studies revolve around the arcane lore that deals specifically with the creation of mythals. A mythal is a powerful elven enchantment that is essentially a weave of protective magic that can be cast over a vast area. I've discovered numerous historical accounts of elven mages laying such mythals over an entire city. Interesting. Tell me more. The details of the accounts are vague at best. The mages of the old elven kingdoms vanished long ago, retreating to the safety and isolation of the Isle of Evermeet. It seems that all their written knowledge of mythal enchantment has vanished with them. For over a decade I have traveled the realm searching for remnants of the forgotten lore. This is what brought me to Kuldahar. You think the answers you seek are here in Kuldahar? Not exactly. While exploring the fabled ruins of Mithranor, I came across an old, tattered manuscript buried amid the rubble of an abandoned library. The manuscript made several references to an elven outpost located somewhere within the spine of the World Mountains. Naturally, I came here to find the settlement. Thus far, I've been unable to locate it. Well, if I come across any elven ruins, I'll be sure to let you know. I appreciate your interest. If by some miracle you find the lost elven outpost and happen upon any materials regarding mythals, please deliver them to me here. I am willing to pay a handsome reward for such a service. I'll remember that. Farewell.
Sure.
I knew you'd make it through. I just knew it. Who are you, and how did you know we were coming? I'm Nate. Arundel said that help was on its way. I've been out here every day keeping a lookout for you. Where's the rest of your army? Are you just scouts or something? Sorry to disappoint you, but we are alone. Alone? I thought for sure that the 10 towns would send an army to help us. Wait till Arundel finds out it's just you. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Farewell. heard there were strangers in town, but I didn't believe it. You from East Haven? How'd you get through? We were part of an expedition from East Haven, but not all of us made it. My sympathies for your fallen comrades. What happened? The pass is snowed in, and to make things worse, there's a horde of creatures in the pass, mostly goblins and orcs. I doubt any caravans will be through for quite some time. That is grim news indeed. I fear things here in Kuldahar are not much better. You may wish you'd stayed in East Haven. Tell me about Kuldahar. What did you want to know about it? Or did you want to know what's been going on around here? Around Kuldahar. Do you mean the weather? This winter's been a season of evil here in Kuldahar. People vanishing, sudden storms, monsters set from the past. It's all going to get a lot worse before the year's done. Mark my words. I see. Anything else you can tell me? Ask some of the other townsfolk. They might know something I don't, and you'll never know a bit of information they got in their heads that might randomly cough up when unasked. Very well. Can you tell me a little bit about the town? Well, Kuldahar's not a big place, but I can tell you a little bit about it if you want. How long has that tree been here? It's huge. Been here as long as I can remember. A blessing as near as I can tell. The chilly weather doesn't even touch the town with a tree growing here. It radiates enough heat to keep things green, which is a sight for tired eyes here in the north. But hells, if you came through the pass, you'll know that already. Are there any churches or temples nearby? There's a temple to Ilmater here in the northeast canyon, just beneath the wrecked airship. Don't know if that's your faith or not, but the brothers and Reverend Mother are good people. Ilmater, the broken god, correct? Aye, he's the god of suffering, the crying god. His priests seek to help alleviate the sufferings of others by taking on their pain. Don't know all the teachings, but that's pretty much how I understand it. Don't you worship him? Well, I'll tell you, friend, we'll unlock at the great tree of Kuldahar, and it seems to me that nature's the only thing that really deserving the worship around here. I mean, the branches nearly scrape the clouds, it seems. Beautiful sight it is. Have you ever heard the teachings of Ilmater? I think they might make you see the church differently. Maybe so. What are his teachings? Ilmater is the willing sufferer. He takes on the burdens and pains of others, and so do his priests. I'm sure you've noticed the priests put others ahead of themselves, and they are always there when one needs healing or comfort. I suppose. I'd always assumed the priest's been helping the town in hopes of gaining converts. Maybe I'll attend one of their worship days and see a little bit more about the church is like. Thanks for opening my eyes a little. I must take my leave. Farewell.
Welcome. I've been expecting you for some time now.
You must be Arundel.
Yes, I am Arundel, known to some as the Archdruid of Kuldahar. Though I invite you to dispense with the formalities and just call me Arundel, plain and simple. Titles tend only to serve one's own vanity and aren't really of much use in this small mountain community.
I was not saying his name correct at all. So you're the Archdruid, huh? I suppose you can tell us what's been going on around here.
Yes. It was I who sent Hallister to East Haven for help. His death weighs heavily upon my conscience. For not only was he a student of mine, but he was also a friend and trusted companion. He will be missed, as will Hrothgar and the other members of your expedition.
You knew Hrothgar?
Let us say I knew of him. Word of his deeds has reached even our small, isolated town. I also know that his death, tragic as it is, was no accident. Someone or something did not want your party to reach Kuldahar alive.
What's going on around here, old man?
There are malevolent forces at work in these mountains. Forces that seek to undermine the delicate balance we druids have struggled to preserve for centuries.
Malevolent forces? I mean, could you be more specific?
No, would that I could. The face of the evil remains hidden, but its presence is unmistakable. All about us, there are signs of its damaging influence on the balance. The unnatural weather, the recent rash of abductions, the numerous monster sightings in the pass. These all point towards something sinister. Even the animals sense something is amiss.
Can you tell me more about these disturbances?
I can only tell you of what little I know. Which disturbances would you have me speak of?
We heard of something about unnatural weather.
Oh, the weather in these mountains has always been harsh, but never like this. Fierce storms ravage the valley without warning, often lasting for several days at a time, before vanishing as quickly as they come. It is barely midway into leafall, and yet the pass to the south has been snowed in entirely. Weather such as this is most unnatural. Nature presents itself in cycles that are predictable by those who know what to look for.
You spoke before balance. What sort of balance are you talking about?
The balance. It is what the Druids of Kuldahar hold sacred and have worked to preserve for generations. It is all around us. It is us. Balance is the harmony that is achieved when man and nature learn to coexist, no longer contending with one another, but coming together as two parts of a whole.
I think I understand. Such balance is an ideal worth saving for indeed. Worth striving for indeed.
Balance is the belief that this town is built upon, the very reason for its existence. Druids of Sylvanas, the Oak Father, have tended this shrine since the beginning. For hundreds of years, we have striven to achieve the ideal balance between man and nature. When settlers finally came to this pass, it was the Archdruid Tolban, my predecessor, who laid the foundation for the relationship that led to the birth of this community.
Shrine? What shrine are you talking about?
The great oak, the massive tree that stands above us, around us. It is a holy shrine to Sylvanas, for it was he who planted its seed when Faerun was first born. It is a testament to the raw power of nature, a monument to its ability to thrive in the face of adversity. Thanks to Tolban, the great oak we druids called the Kuldahar, and the town that has come to be known by the same name, have together become a monument of even greater significance. A monument to the balance.
Who's this Tolban?
Tolban was the catalyst for the transformation of the shrine from a sacred grove to a thriving community in which man and nature exist as one. At first, settlers were kept away from this site. The Druids of old saw outsiders as an affront to the sanctity of the tree and its sphere of benign influence. They erected thorny brambles to keep intruders out, and used their powers to frighten away the men and women that came to build homes in a place they felt was obviously so close to the gods. It wasn't until the succession of Archdruid Tolban that things changed. Unlike his predecessors, he believed that the settlement of the valley was not only inevitable, but it was actually the will of Sylvanas. He also believed that we had been wrong in keeping the settlers away, and that the Oak Father had intended people to share in the miracle of the Great Oak from the beginning. When Tolban finally became Archdruid, he formed a plan to fulfill the destiny of this sacred site by bringing about a union between the Great Oak Shrine and the settlers. It was this union that the Archdruid Tolban believed would achieve the harmony that we had been striving for generations. The harmony between man and nature. As it stands, Kuldahar is a monument to this vision. The tree and town exist in a natural symbiosis, where it is next to impossible to tell where one leaves off and the other begins. But now, the balance is threatened. I can only tell you of what little I know. Which disturbances would you have me speak of?
We've talked to a few people around town and have heard that there's been a few recent and rash abductions.
Oh, yes. Terrible, terrible. At first, there were tales told by travelers of companions disappearing into the night, snatched up from their bedrolls as they camped along the narrow trail that winds through the pass. We did not think much of these tales, for such occurrences are not unheard of in these mountains. Then one night, Conlan's boy Sheemish went missing. The next morning, the whole town searched for the boy, but turned up nothing. He was just gone. Vanished, without a trace.
That is strange.
The boy was just the first. Several nights later, another disappeared. Megan Potts, the local midwife. Her husband, Khalil, was grief-stricken to the point of madness. With barely a word to anyone, he snatched up his sword and marched off into the darkness after his wife. No one has heard from him since. And now, the abductions are occurring more frequently. Iden, the old innkeeper from the Evening Shade, was taken only 3 days ago.
Anything else you can tell me about these?
I can only tell you of what little I know. Which disturbances would you have me speak of?
What about the monster sightings?
As I'm sure you have noticed by now, there seems to be quite a few goblins about. It is not usual to see so many of their kind roaming the mountains so late in the year. It is almost as something has drawn them out of their holes, like carrion birds drawn to the scent of death. As if the goblins weren't enough, several giants have been spotted moving through the pass in groups as large as 10. That many giants traveling together in such numbers indicates they are organized and are acting with a singular purpose. I have watched their activities closely. Their tracks trace a deliberate pattern through the mountains, almost as if they were on patrol. Another thing, while I was out scouting the giants, I discovered other sets of tracks I have never encountered before. What manner of beast made them? I could not say. I can only tell you of what little I know. Which disturbances would you have me speak of?
So, what are we to do about all of this?
I fear that if we do not soon discover the source of these disturbances, then all that we have worked for will be destroyed. The evil that has come to these mountains infects this town like a disease. As its people suffer, so does the tree suffer from the sickness that attacks the balance, corrupting it with its very presence. Already, the circle of warmth that radiates from the great oak has begun to recede. We were forced to abandon the outlying farmsteads as a result of the shrine's fading power. If we do not take action soon, I am afraid that the life-giving warmth will cease altogether. Both the great oak and the town, nestled within its roots, will die. This must not happen. We need your help.
Very well. Together, we shall root out this evil that threatens this town. What would you have us do?
I suggest you begin by investigating the Vale of Shadows. It is a place not far from here. Darkness has always clung to the floor of the small canyon, as if the light of the sun itself were wary of the place. There are a number of ancient crypts hidden within the shadows of the Vale's narrow cliff walls. There have been rumors of the dead awakening and emerging from their dusty tombs to walk once more amongst men. If these rumors are true, then I suspect that whatever is responsible for disturbing their slumber may be behind the other disturbances as well. Go to the Vale of Shadows, learn what you can about the happenings there, then return here and we shall discuss a course of action. Good luck, and farewell.
Very interesting. Well, everyone, I think we'll end this episode here. And on the next one, we'll investigate this Veil of Shadows and see what it has in store. So, thank you for joining me on this episode of Icewind Dale. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And we'll see you all in the next one.